What's up, everyone? This is the Next Tape Podcast, episode 52 with Mikel, and
And Tanyka.
where we have conversations on different topics. So it's a scary night on this Halloween. It's not really Halloween, but we're just
We're
gonna
kick
talk,
we're kicking it
kicking it
off
off.
because we're in
Yeah,
we're in technically, spooky season kind of starts up like
right.
in September, let's be real. So
Really? September?
there are people who will argue that spooky season starts in September. There
Hmm.
are people who argue spooky season is all the time.
Really interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. I didn't know that. I thought, I mean, I understand towards the end of September.
Yeah,
I mean,
no.
people
No.
usually start with Thanksgiving first and then go on Halloween.
Yeah, but remember yes, Thanksgiving is before Halloween for us here, but it's not in the case for the States.
Yeah,
Because
yeah, yeah.
Thanksgiving is after, right? So,
I keep forgetting they
mm,
have it in November.
yeah.
So yeah, okay.
So, with that, but there are people, like I said, who love this time of year, who love Halloween. I am
Hmm.
one of those people, and are perfectly fine kicking it off like in September. Like this
Mm,
is the time that I'll start like watching my scary movies and everything, and just
mm,
just starting that is kind of around the time where pumpkin spice everything is starting to come out. Like,
mm.
yeah, this is a time.
And then Starbucks pumpkin spice coffees come out in this time of year too. So
I did say pumpkin spice comes out, but it's not just Starbucks. Tim Hortons does it too. I'm
okay.
sure other places do it that mom and pop type places I'm sure do it too. Pumpkin muffins start coming out. I love a
Uh,
pumpkin muffin.
mm,
Yeah.
true, true. Huh, interesting. Well, I whatever comes on TV for me, Dracula or Frankenstein or or the Wolf of I almost said the Wolf of Wall Street.
I was about this. What?
The Werewolf of Night, whatever. So yeah, whatever comes on TV, I watch.
All lore.
Like yeah, it's or the Addams Family. Those comes on like every single
Yeah.
Halloween.
Yeah.
So
All the movies come out. You have everything.
yeah,
All this is when all of it starts off.
yeah.
And yeah,
Wolf of
I
Wall
love it.
Street. So
Definitely not a part of this.
I mean, technically, the guy, what's his name?
Leonardo
Kind of,
DiCaprio?
yeah, he's kind of scary. Isn't he?
What?
He's kind of scary
How is he scary?
yeah, when he says, "I'm not leaving. I'm not leaving.
I
I'm not
full
leaving."
disclosure, full disclosure, guys. I've never seen a Fall Street.
Oh man,
Never seen it.
you seen the clips of it though?
No, I don't even remember. That movie came out a
Uh,
long time ago now. I can't remember anything about it.
no. Okay.
No.
All right. All right.
Listen,
Let's go.
I'm not a big Leo fan. I'm not. I'm not.
Oh, okay.
I've never been.
That's another story. I know why. I probably know why, but that's another
No,
story.
no, no. I never liked Leo. Like I'm
Uh,
not a Leo fan.
so you never liked
Never been.
Titanic?
No,
Titanic.
I love Titanic, but I just
Mm,
never understood the hype of Leonardo DiCaprio and like, oh my
great
God,
actor.
he's so hot. Like
In
it's
my
that for me. I'm like, what?
opinion, he's a great actor. In my opinion,
I'm not saying
exception.
he's a bad actor. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying
Yeah.
like he's not someone who I'd rush to go watch their movies kind of
Mm,
thing.
mm,
Yeah, no, it's not for
mm.
me. But
Interesting.
anyways, I mean,
Yeah.
I can watch Titanic all the time like everybody else. Jack,
Yeah.
Jack.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
get it.
Like Titanic is like a classic. It's new to everybody. Telling you it is kind of a scary movie. Like that the iceberg is the kind of
Iceberg
the
straight ahead.
yeah, the villain of that iceberg is kind of scary. Like
I
that
mean,
it's
icebergs
a
are not
huge
meant to not be
iceberg.
scary.
Yeah.
Icebergs are, I mean, listen, the iceberg was just sitting there minding its own business, wasn't trying to crash into anything. Titanic, you screwed up and you hit the iceberg. You
Mm.
hit the iceberg. The
So who
iceberg
was
did not hit you.
so who was the villain here? Was it the iceberg? The iceberg could have,
The villain was the fact that that ship was not properly constructed in the first place. But let's not talk too much about Titanic. Let's just
Yeah.
say I have some ideas for future episodes. So let's move on
Mm.
off of Titanic for a
Okay.
minute.
All right. Okay.
And let's get to the reason we're going off on tangents. The reason that we're here. And that is we are kicking off Halloween
Mm.
with a little bit of history, a little bit of just education. Not really education. We're gonna have fun.
Hmm.
Learning is fun, y'all. And
Yes.
and and just a little bit of lore with
Hmm.
the most famous, the first of its kind, the person who created what we know as vampires. Yes, everybody, we're going to be talking about Dracula, blah, blah, blah. That's what we're going to be doing.
Yeah. Dracula.
Dracula.
Come to suck your blood.
That's the one. That's
Yeah.
the one.
Yeah.
So, we're going to talk about kind of Dracula in the sense of the book and kind of in terms of maybe where it came from, where maybe Bram Stoker, where he might have gotten the idea for Dracula, which I'm sure, Mikel, you probably don't know. Maybe a lot of people don't know about this.
Mm.
Then again, listen, I always say this, I always find the moments where I can say TLC is still a learning network because that learning channel is because I learned this while watching Before the 90. And I'm
Mm.
like, oh, so listen, it is still the learning channel. Anyways, so let's
Yeah.
get into it. So, published in 1897, Bram Stoker's Gothic novel Dracula launched an entire genre of literature and film about vampires. Those sinister figures who use their supernatural powers to hunt humans and drink their blood.
Hmm.
Everyone loves a vampire or something, okay?
Yeah. Like Twilight. Moving
Well,
on.
people will say that Twilight isn't like real vampires. Even me, I agree. They don't sparkle in the sun. They burn in the sun.
Mm.
But I've always had a love of vampires with like
Right.
Buffy and everything. So like,
Oh yeah.
yeah.
That's a classic.
Oh, Buffy. I'm currently watching the seasons again.
Mm.
I listen to a podcast that's rewatching them. Yeah, if you
Right.
the rewatcher, if anyone listens.
Right.
And I'm at like the last two episodes of the whole series, and I'm like
Mhm.
stalling because I don't want to finish it yet. But
Mm.
oh yeah, I love Buffy. So
Mm.
to create his immortal anti-hero, Count Dracula, Stoker certainly drew on popular Central European folktales about the, I'm going to butcher this word, Nosferatu. I think that's how you say it, which is basically undead. But he also seems to have been inspired by historical accounts of the 15th century Romanian prince Vlad Tepes,
Mm.
or commonly known as Vlad the Impaler.
Interesting.
Trust me, this is going to be gnarly, everybody. Here we go. Born in Transylvania as the second son of the nobleman Vlad II Dracul, spelled like Dracula without the A at the end, he took the name Dracula, meaning son of Dracul, when he was initiated into a secret order of Christian knights known as the Order of the Dragon. In Romanian, Dracul means dragon. As the ruler of Wallachia, now part of Romania, Vlad Tepes became notorious for the brutal tactics he employed against his enemies, including torture, mutilation, and mass murder. Though he didn't shy away from disembowelment, decapitation, or boiling or skinning his victims alive.
Interesting.
His interesting is not the word I was looking for, but yeah, his preferred method was impalement or driving a wooden stake, everybody, through their bodies and leaving them to die of exposure. Yikes.
Yeah.
During his campaign against Ottoman invaders in 1462, Vlad reportedly had as many as 20,000 victims impaled on the banks of Danube.
Mhm.
Captured by Hungarian forces and imprisoned, he was finally able to regain his seat in 1476, only to be then killed in battle that same year.
Mm.
So he reigned for some time, but then he's dead. So
Right.
some particularly gruesome accounts claimed that Vlad liked to dine among the impaled bodies of his victims and would even, this is gross, everybody, dip his bread into their blood. I'll give y'all a minute because that's disgusting.
He must have thought it was, hot sauce, just
I can't with you right now. It's so gross. So gross. These gory details, as well as his legally adopted name Dracula and his birthplace of Transylvania, have convinced many scholars that Vlad the Impaler provided partial inspiration for Stoker's famous vampire. So I do have pictures of what they depict him to look like. Interesting looking fella. So it's kind of like the history that, for me, like when I first heard about, like I'd mentioned TLC and I mentioned before the 90 days, there was a person who was going to Romania.
Mm-hmm.
If you remember everybody's daddy's box, you know who I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And they went to what was his castle, Vlad the Impaler's castle.
Right.
And it was then that I realized, like, this is potentially the inspiration for Dracula. I'm like, oh. And there was this chair. I can see if I can find the chair again and maybe I'll post it.
Mm-hmm.
There was this chair that had like these spikes all around it. And this was one of his torture devices.
Wow.
It was, again, gnarly.
What do you expect of somebody that calls himself like, Dracula?
Well, Dracula means dragon in Romanian, right?
I mean,
so they're not thinking, oh, one day someone's going to write a book about me or is going to write a book loosely inspired by me. No one thinks that. Obviously, in the 15th century. And so, yeah, like
Dungeon? The
dungeon.
Dragon? Dungeon Dragon?
No.
Goes 1-on-1.
Dragons and vampires I've never seen commingle. The last thing a vampire wants is to be lit on fire. They die.
Oh.
Fire is bad for them. Do you watch anything having to do with vampires?
Like the great Busta Rhymes said, "Rah rah, like a dungeon dragon," So
what? You're getting too mixed up here. Dracula is a word in Romanian meaning dragon.
Yeah.
It's not supposed to be about vampires. There's a whole other lore about vampires as well. Further from this, that we're just merely talking Dracula. Maybe we can talk about the lore of vampires after the another episode. But you're getting too caught up in the dragon aspect of it. That's Dracula translated into Romanian is dragon. That's all. But there's no connection.
Dungeon and.
What are you talking about?
He has a dungeon, doesn't he? He does like I don't
know if they're necessarily known to have dungeons. They have coffins. because they're the
No,
undead.
I mean, technically, he said, didn't you just mention he had a dungeon or something like that, or
No,
did he,
no,
I thought you said that.
no, I didn't say anything about
Because
dungeon.
he had a chair, spike chair,
No, no,
basically
no.
a
I never said it was in a
computer.
dungeon though. I don't know
Oh,
where
okay,
the chair was situated in the castle prior to being
okay,
now part of a museum. The castle is
right.
now a museum. I don't know where the chair was situated prior to that.
Okay, I thought
No,
you. Okay, we're the
no,
same.
no,
Okay, all right.
no,
Yeah, my bad.
no. Okay, so obviously we know with Dracula and the fact that Dracula seems to be a famous figure in pop culture with movies, TV shows. We're going to talk about some movies where you or TV shows that you can find Dracula. So we're going to do that. So there is a movie called Dracula Untold. This is a 2014 movie, and it gets a 6.2 rating on IMDb. So this is where I got IMDb. And basically, this movie is about as his kingdom is being threatened by the Turks, young Prince Vlad Tepes, he's the main character here, must become a monster feared by his own people. He kind of already was, in order to obtain the power needed to protect his own family and the families of his kingdom. Vlad didn't care about the families of his kingdom. He didn't care. He, yeah, anyways. There's another one called Dracula 2012. This is a 2013 movie. This one gets a 2.1 on IMDb, which is not good, guys. I'm pretty sure the rating is at 10. So, not good. So, this one's about while on his honeymoon in Romania, a man visits the Bran castle and upon his return to the hotel, kills his bride. Well, he then returns to his homeland and begins to hunt for new victims.
Interesting.
There's another one called Simply No. This is called No.
Is it?
And just no.
Okay.
It's a 2012 movie and it gets a 2-star rating. And it is, he is the vicious leech of the myths and at present the tragic lead of a love story. That is it. That's all we get. There is Dracula 3D, 2012 as well.
Ugh.
And this one gets a 3.6.
Good.
Slightly better.
Can't stand 3D movies.
Really?
Yeah, no, not in this era.
Okay.
Back then, they like back in the day, they did used to do so good.
You
Nowadays,
think?
it's
I
yeah,
hated 3D movies back then.
no, they did it with effort. These days, they can't even make it good in Marvel movies or or other movies. So like yeah, no,
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of disagree.
pass.
I kind of disagree. But anyway, this one's about Asia Argento, stars in horror legend Dario Argento's, guess they're
Right.
related, sexy spin. It's a sexy spin on the classic tale about the sharp-toothed count who craves human blood. And this is in 3D, y'all. Anyways, let's go to something that's hell of a lot better. And I
Mhm.
hope everyone has seen this movie. Hotel Transylvania. One of my favorites. Blah
So,
blah. Are you kidding me?
no,
You have to.
is that an animation or is
Yeah, it's
it?
animation.
Yeah,
Adam
okay,
Sandler is
yeah,
in it. Kevin James is in it.
yeah. I just
A
never
lot
saw
of
it.
the regular Adam Sandler people are in it. So and Selena Gomez is in it too. So like yeah, it's I love this movie. This one gets a
Mhm.
7-star rating. Duh. This is
Nice.
also 2012. And in case I guess you haven't watched the movie like Mikel hasn't, Dracula, who operates a high-end resort away from the human world, goes into overprotective mode when a human boy, discovers the resort and falls for the Count's teenaged daughter. It's great.
Mm.
We have another movie just simply called Dracula. It's 2006. And this one gets a 5.2 out of 10. And this one, I don't get the full synopsis about it, but Maybe what I do have. The Romanian count known as Dracula is summoned to London by Arthur Holmwood, who is a young lord who is on the verge of being wed. Unknown to Arthur's future bride Lucy, her future husband is infected with syphilis. ... Oops. Yikes.
What?
Apparently, Dracula shows up in Blade Trinity. So I guess that's the
Yeah,
third one?
no, I think he's a villain in that one.
Well, that makes sense. He's Dracula. This is a
Yeah.
2004, and this one gets a 5.8 star rating. And if you're like me, who is not at all interested in any of the Blade movies, Blade, now a wanted man by the FBI, must join forces with the Night Stalkers to face his most challenging enemy yet, Dracula.
Yeah. The third one was not that good, in my opinion.
I don't.
The first one, it was alright.
I never had any interest in watching any of the Blade movies. But anyway, Van Helsing. There's going to be a few like Van Helsing spottings throughout this, but this is a 2004. This one gets a 6.1. And this one is the famed monster hunter is sent to Transylvania to stop Count Dracula, who's using Dr. Frankenstein's research and a werewolf for nefarious purposes. So we kind of get more than one thing here kind of going on.
These movies were, popular. Van Helsing? Helsing. Okay. Yeah, those movies were popular back in the day. I would say, yeah.
So we also have another Dracula, but this one's called Pages from a Virgin's Diary. Kind of. But anyways, this one gets a 6.8, so that's not bad. 2002. And it's about a ballet rendition of Bram Stoker's Dracula. So it's a ballet, y'all, stylized as an expressionistic silent film. Lord Jesus, that doesn't sound very good. Anyways, another television show where Dracula makes an appearance. I actually just mentioned it a few minutes ago. Buffy the Vampire Slayer. And I can't remember exactly what's actually, no, wait. If I think about it, I think it was season 5. Season 5, episode 1 or 2, Dracula makes an appearance.
I'm thinking about Angel, am I? No, that's Angel.
Not Angel.
Who's the other guy? Is he is Dracula the skinny guy?
No. Dracula's only on here once. One episode.
Oh, okay.
You're thinking Spike.
Spike, there we go, yeah.
Yeah, you're thinking Spike.
Yeah.
Spike is throughout the entire series, but Dracula, no. Spike is William the Bloody God. Anyway, no.
Was Dracula his boss or something?
No.
I can't remember.
There's no connection with the other vampires in Dracula.
Okay.
Dracula's here to fuck with Buffy. That's basically all he's here for.
Oh, okay.
It's actually a really good episode. But anyways, the synopsis of that episode, again, if you want to watch it, it's season 5, episode 1 or 2. I'm pretty sure it's number 1 though. Actually, scratch that. It's probably 2 because we have a surprise. I'm not going to say anything more. Anyways, the one and only Dracula makes his way to Sunnydale and immediately has everyone enchanted, including Xander, y'all. Even Buffy might not be able to resist his charms, but she's Buffy, of course she does. Anyways.
Right.
Dracula, dead and loving it. Now this is a Leslie Nielsen type movie, so it's a spoof. But it's a 1995 movie and it gets 5.8 stars. So this is Mel Brooks' parody of the classic vampire story and its famous film adaptations. So this is a cute movie, I'm sure, because again, it's Leslie Nielsen.
Yeah.
We have another Dracula movie. This is 1992. This one gets a 7.4 star rating, so not bad. The centuries-old vampire Count Dracula comes to England to seduce his barrister, Jonathan Harker's fiancée, Mina Murray, and inflict havoc in the foreign land. So he's here to steal your girl. That's basically what he's doing. We have even kid type shows besides Hotel Transylvania. Little Dracula, which is a 1991 series, I guess. It had 6 episodes.
Uh,
I don't know this. I don't know this at all, but it got a 6.2 rating, so I
mm,
mean, not bad. But basically, this little show was about little Dracula as a green-skinned child vampire who aspires to be like his father, Big Dracula, yet also enjoys rock and roll and surfing. So it sounds very cute.
mm.
We have a Sundown, The Vampire in Retreat. This is a 1989, I think, movie, and it got a 6.1 rating. And basically, this is reclusive vampires lounge in a lonely American town. They wear sunscreen to protect themselves. Interesting. A descendant of Van Helsing's arrives with hilarious consequences. So
Mm.
somewhere in there under Dracula, but yeah, that's interesting. So Count Dracula is another movie. This is a 1977 movie.
That's a classic. Go ahead.
Yeah, this is a 7.3 star rating,
Mm.
and the vampire count leaves his Transylvanian home to wreak havoc across the world. So
Nice.
there's even more pornographic type Dracula stuff.
Oh, jeez.
There are people who definitely,
That's on the list too.
there's literally one called Countess Dracula's Orgy of Blood.
No, gee, you put that on. I can't
I
believe.
thought, listen, everyone has their thing. People find this stuff to be kinky. I don't get it, but I mean, again, I like vampires, but no. So it's there. Whatever.
What's the rating
Do
on
you?
that one? What's the rating on that one?
3.4.
Of course, it's not focused on. It's oh my God.
And this is a 2004 movie.
Yeah, of course, it's not focused on the character. It's more focused on the moves. You know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's necessarily porn full force or if it's more like a soft porn type situation, which is like whatever, but soft porn, whatever. But like, I'm not sure how far the porn aspect goes. I didn't watch this to find out. So it could be soft porn, which is, again, there's no nudity in that, so it's whatever. Or there's no like, it's there might be nudity, but there's not like,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
real. It's not like real porn.
Yeah.
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 So yeah, I thought it was funny. I'm like, really? I just thought it was funny. There's another one called Blood for Dracula, which is a 1974 movie. It is a 6.1 rating, 6-star rating, and it's about an alien vampire count travels to Italy with his servant to find a bride. So I guess he's gonna die without a bride. I don't know. But anyways, so there is, this is funny. There are 2 different movies that basically is inclusive of not just white people. Black people can also be Dracula, and it's called Blackula. Is the first movie from 1972.
Can't wait for the outrage for that one.
Oh, it's a 5.7 rating, and it's about an 18th century African prince turned into a vampire by Dracula, finds himself in modern day Los Angeles. Then there is a sequel to this movie called Scream, Blackula Scream. And it's 1973. Somehow, even though like it didn't get a great rating, I guess it had enough of a budget to do a second movie.
Yeah.
And this one,
I wonder why.
I don't know, but this one was a 5.6 star rating. And this one is basically the vampire Mamuwalde, aka Blackula, is resurrected by voodoo and forced to kill again. So I guess they kill him and then they bring him back.
What's the rating on that?
5.6. Okay, so we also have, which maybe again, I can talk about this particular story also more in depth in a future episode because I didn't expect to see her come into this. But there's a movie called Countess Dracula, which is in 17th century Hungary. Elderly widow Countess Elizabeth Nadesty, which I don't remember that being her last name, maintains her misleading youthful appearance by bathing in the blood of virgins, regularly supplied to her by faithful servant Captain Dobie.
Right.
This is
Okay.
a true story. Not quite
Mm.
in that sense, but roughly, like the fact that it's Hungary is true. The fact that it was suspected she bathed in her victims' bloods is true. All of those things are true. It is, again, a very gnarly story as well. And
Mhm.
maybe that's something we can talk about in a future episode.
Right.
It's insane, this story.
Hmm.
Insane. So yeah, I wasn't expecting to see her on this list. Her name is Elizabeth, though. Her first name is Elizabeth. But yeah, it's
Okay.
insane story. Anyway, there's another movie called The
Mm.
Night Stalker, which
Right.
reminds me of a serial killer. But anyways, The Night Stalker in 1972, which this is a 7.4 star rating, so not bad. And it's about an abrasive Las Vegas newspaper reporter investigates a series of murders committed by a vampire. Could it be Dracula? We don't know. But anyways, but there
Mm.
is, where's another movie? Okay, we have, to bring us back to Vlad, we have a movie called The Impaler, which is a 2013 movie. And this did not do so good. This was a 3.1 star rating. Not good. Not good at all. But basically, it's about 7 high school friends begin their Euro trip at the actual castle of Vlad the Impaler, where he supposedly sold his soul to the devil over 500 years earlier. But the decrepit castle's past envelopes them in a bloody ritual. So,
Sounds like a sounds like a mess.
it does
Film.
sound like a little bit of a mess. I think the concept actually isn't that bad, but clearly the movie didn't go so good.
Mm.
There, this is interesting. It was a movie from 1964. This one got a 4.8 star rating, and it's called Batman Dracula. I wonder why I didn't do so good when you're calling it
Batman.
Batman
Bat.
Dracula.
There's another one that came out in 2005
Mm-hmm.
called The Batman versus Dracula.
See, that makes more sense. Not the Batman Dracula, because this is making it. Okay, let's just read it. It says Andy Warhol's infamous lost campy classic, charting the adventures of Batman 2 years before Adam West donned the caped Crusader's wings in the
Oh, I
classic
see.
TV show.
So it's the Adam West. Okay, that makes more sense. Okay, the Adam West one, that was more comedic. So like
Mm,
you got to understand the Adam West one. So yeah, that makes more sense. If it
okay.
was like the like like what's his name? What's his name? George Clooney and
Hmm.
the or the animation ones, then it wouldn't make any damn sense. Because yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
There is another movie called The Brides of Dracula, which is from 1960. It gets a 6.6 star rating, so bad, not great, but not bad. And it's a vampire hunter, Dr. Van Helsing, returns to Transylvania to destroy handsome bloodsucker Baron Meinster, I think is how you say his name, who has designs on a beautiful young school teacher. So, whatever.
Mm.
We have The Son of Dracula, which is a 1943 movie and got a 6.1 star rating on IMDb. And this is about when Catherine, who is a beautiful Southern girl obsessed with thoughts of eternal life, invites Count Accolard to come to her mansion in the US. She unleashes a Pandora's box of horror on unsuspecting relatives and neighbors. There's also Dracula's Daughter, because why not? This is a 1936 movie, and this is a 6.3 star rating. And it's about when Countess Maria Zeliska appears in London. Mysterious events occur that lead Dr. Van Helsing, here he is again, to believe that the Countess must be a vampire. So it's pretty crazy. So those are that's not all the movies, those are some of them. But let's kind of end it off and the episode off with, they say it's a quote, but it's kind of more of an excerpt from the book. I hope. I'm hoping, because again, I haven't read the book, but I'm assuming this is an excerpt. And it goes as such. Mina, who I don't know who Mina is, y'all, but hopefully someone who's out there read this book knows who this is,
Mhm.
basically says, I want to be what you are, see what you see, love what you love. And Dracula responds with, Mina, to walk with me, you must die to your breathing life and be reborn to mine. And Mina responds, you are my love and my life always. With Dracula responds, then I give you life eternal, everlasting love, the power of the storm. So I guess she turns into a vampire, I don't know.
Right.
But that is basically the kickoff episode into Halloween.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yay!
Yay. 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 Interesting stuff with
Yeah.
that. Nice. Pretty cool.
Yeah. Before we end off, though, we do want to, again, just kind of go through what we're expecting with this Halloween. What are we calling it? What's the word I'm looking for? Halloween episodes upcoming series. There we go.
Halloween
Um,
Mania.
sure, why not? We can call it that too. We are going to be recapping episodes. I'm sorry, I was just saying episodes, movies in the Halloween genre. And we are kind of going to be kind of talking about the kind of the main topic kind of behind the movie. That's kind of what we're going to be I don't want to say too much, but that's kind of what we're going to be talking about in terms of the that. But I will again go over the movies that you can expect that we will be covering, and this is in this order. So if you want to watch the movies prior to listening to the episode, you can do that. So we're going to be watching Sleepy Hollow. It's the first one we're going to be doing. Second is going to be the Fear Street trilogy, which is all three of those movies, where you can probably find that on Netflix. That is all exclusively on Netflix. We have the Scream movies. We're going to be talking movies 1 to 4. Now, we have done a little bit of a search. The first movie is on Netflix still. Potentially by the time, well, we're recording this again early. Hopefully by the time that you are listening to these episodes, they should be up. A lot of them should be up on Netflix by the time we're getting this out. So you can probably find them on there too. So then we're also going to be doing Happy Death Day, just the standalone movie, Happy Death Day. And then we're going to be ending off the Halloween, we're calling it Mania. We're going to be ending it off with of course, Halloween movies. In particular, we're going to try our best to get our hands on the original movie. I don't know how easy that's going to be. For all that it's a classic, but we're going to kind of going a little all over the place with the Halloween movies, with the original, the Halloween 21 and the 2018 one. So those are the ones we're going to try to make sure we can kind of stick with. But I'm just going to say this, you watch one, you kind of watch them all, honestly. So that's okay if you can't get your hands on all of them. But those are the movies we're going to be watching. We'll remind you again each week which one we're going to be doing. So with that said, next week we are going to be doing Sleepy Hollow, and that is of course the Johnny Depp version of Sleepy Hollow.
Okay. All right. You hear it here first, guys. That's what we're going to be doing in October. So this ends episode 52 of the Next Tape podcast. The Next Tape podcast is available on all podcast platforms. We also have a website called solo.to/next tape podcast. Where else are we at, Tanyka?
We are on Facebook and Instagram at Next Take Podcast, and Twitter and TikTok at Next Take Pod.
All right. And you can contact us on our email at Mikel Tanyka@gmail.com. That is Mikel Tanyka@gmail.com. So, Count Dracula, that's what we talked about this episode.
Yeah,
and
Count Dracula / Vlad the Impaler. Yeah.
yeah,
In the different
yeah.
movies and TV shows,
Hmm.
you can see Dracula.
It's very scary.
Blah,
Yeah,
blah,
it's very
blah.
scary. Yeah.
It's not that scary. I mean, Vlad's pretty scary, but he's dead. He's been dead a long time. I think we're okay.
Mm. No, true, true. All right. So I'm Mikel,
And I'm Tanyka.
and we are out until next week. Come to suck your blood.
Blah, blah, blah. All right. Bye.